Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video we are going to be doing an anti-MLM reaction style video. So of course, just as a disclaimer, this video is for entertainment purposes only and just my opinions. Before we proceed into the video, I wanted to give a huge shout out to one of you guys that owns a small business, and the small business is named Badger's Bakery. The person behind this account is actually a subscriber, and they went ahead and sent me, I'm wearing one of the earrings, you can't really see it though, so I will post a picture up on the screen. And then they also sent me these little popsicle earrings. I got a little sticker, and then yeah, I got some Polish candy. But I did just want to say thank you so much, and I'm a huge supporter of small businesses, especially because the person behind Badger's Bakery makes these themselves. Some of this stuff is so freaking cute. I can't handle how cute it is. The fact that these things are so small, but yet they look like these earrings, you can't, like I said, you can't really see it in the camera, but they look like real chocolate chip cookies. They look so realistic. They're so cool. So thank you so much again to Badger's Bakery. I am not sponsored or anything like that by this person. They just wanted to send me something, and I wanted to talk about it because it's adorable, support small business, and I'm just so thankful that I've been able to do this whole YouTube thing as just like a little hobby and be able to meet so many incredible people and people who want to send me things. That's just, to me, I would have never thought that, yeah, I just would have never thought this would have happened. Yeah, I know, you like the cookies too. But anyway, without further ado, we're going to get into an opportunity call with two, I think it's Farmasi is how they say it, the Farmasi reps. It's that makeup MLM. I've only ever reacted to, I think, one other opportunity call by them, and that was well over a year ago. So yeah, it's time for that. Anyway, with all of that being said, let's go ahead and react to this opportunity call.
About 3 minutes early from the time that we said we were going to do it, but she's getting a little cranky. So I'm going to let hop on here in just a few minutes. We do these every week. And sometimes she's asleep and sometimes she's awake. So we'll see how this goes. What is it? So we're going to get on here and talk to you about why this opportunity could be for you. Even if you've never heard of network marketing, or maybe you've been following either one of us and maybe you have questions, maybe you want to hear a little bit more. So these videos are for you if that's the case. And we're just going to we touch on different subjects every week. And this week we're just going to talk about why or how this opportunity can be good for so many different people. Hey girl, okay, there she is.
Before we proceed, I did just want to say that as a new mom, as you guys know, I always have my daughter in videos with me as well. And I do cover up her face, of course, but which is mine and my husband's choice. But watching her with her daughter and how her daughter's a little fussy and stuff, and how she says sometimes she's asleep, sometimes she's not. Girl, I feel you on that. Because sometimes it's, yeah, you just got to do what you got to do with your kids. But on the other hand, and also Scarlett is reacting to her baby too, because she could see her on the screen. So it's actually kind of cute. On the other hand, on the flip side, the issue with this is that she is showing that as a mom, you can do this opportunity, and it is going to be, I guess you could say, enticing to some people. You have a lot to say, huh? I totally get the whole trying to kind of navigate through life. And I know that I've said this in previous videos already, but if you're new here, yeah, I can totally understand why someone would fall for an MLM, because they might be looking for that community. I myself, we moved to Florida and I still haven't really met people here besides my sister-in-law, my brother-in-law, and then their family, their kids. Which is why, for someone like me, yeah, it would be really easy to join one of these MLMs, because you're looking for other moms, you're looking for other friends, or not even maybe other moms, but other friends that are not moms, because you want a different type of interaction. You might just be looking for adult interaction, and this might just be it. Along with that, you might be looking for something else to do, because with my daughter, I do have, you know, my YouTube channel that I do as a hobby. I have my blog that I do as a hobby. So I have things that are just for me and it's something that I enjoy from, I guess you can kind of say, like my previous life, pre-baby. So I have something already that I enjoy doing in my spare time when she's napping or she's sleeping or something like that. But these other people might be looking for something like that. And they might also be looking to make some extra money, which we know that in MLMs, that's in most cases, in the majority, that's not going to happen. But if you're presented this opportunity and you're presented this beautiful opportunity with a bow on it, like a nicely packaged thing, then yeah, you might hop on it. So anyway, also another thing too, I have to make another disclaimer, is that towards the end of this video, I don't know what was going on with I don't know if it was my phone or my Instagram or just Instagram in general, because this is a common problem I've been having on Instagram. It's just on Instagram. And so it started freezing towards the end of the video. So there is about maybe 2 minutes that's cut out, and then I'm gonna have to piece together because I had to record the last couple of minutes in separate videos, so it's gonna be kind of spliced together. But the context is still, it's an opportunity call. There's no context that you're going to be missing out on. But anyway, let's get back into it. Sorry, tangent.
Let me add her. I think it gives me the option. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and add. I know I'm a little early. Sorry, so if you don't want to hop on yet, you don't have to. Hey. Hey, girl. Okay.
Hello.
She's not asleep, obviously. I was like, I got on here and I was like, sometimes she's asleep and sometimes she's not.
Hi, pretty girl. Let me adjust this. Okay. It's always so weird because once we get on this split screen, it
like cuts you in half. I'm like. So, speaking of her on my lap, this kind of brings me to the subject of, a lot of people ask, well, how am I going to juggle this?
So I already know because I watched this before, but when I was first watching this, you can't see it because I'm going to have it blurred out, but the rep that's on the bottom half of the screen, she drank from what looked like a Shakeology blender shaker thing, because I actually still have mine, and it's obviously not for Shakeology purposes, but I still have it. But I will say that shaker, blender thing, whatever you want to call it, is really great for making bomb ass lemonade, because when we bought the house, we actually found out that we had orange and lemon trees. So I made lemonade from our very own lemons, and ooh, it was yummy. But anyway, so when I first saw that, I was like, oh, is that a Shakeology cup? I mean, it would make sense because she's an MLM, so she probably, you know, she's maybe tried Beachbody before. So keep that in mind as we keep going.
Juggle this kind of business and then have kids at home. Because this opportunity is really good, especially for stay-at-home moms. If they're just wanting like an outlet or just like a community or a sisterhood or something to kind of give them more purpose, not just being a mom. Some people are fine with just being a mom and staying at home and being all about their babies, and that's totally fine. But for me, I needed a little more than that. You know, but when I started this, I was doing another business also. So my reasoning was the sisterhood, the community, the purpose, and then to eventually be able to stay home with her, and that's what I've done. So it's just a really good opportunity for anyone. You can work this full time, you can work this on the side. Whatever you put into it is what you're going to get back from it, if that makes sense. So if you're willing to put in the extra time, you'll be surprised what this opportunity can do for you. It's okay, girl. We're always like telling our kids to be quiet. Always.
You know what? He's picked up on this weekly thing. He's like, hold on. She's on a video. She's talking to that lady again. I'm going to get all up in her stock. And he's like sitting here switching all my samples around. And he's like looking at me while he's doing it. So I'm like, yeah, he's fun.
Well, and I think too, this is a good, to have kids on here, it lets others see that, like, because when I first started, I'll be honest, I was like, oh God, y'all gotta be quiet. You can't do anything while I'm on live. You can't make a noise. And then I got to the point where I was like, you know what? Like, I'm going to be a whole lot more relatable if I just let my kids get on video with me, because that's my reality. My reality is I've always got a kid literally either in my lap or on my live video. So I just I let it rip. I was like, y'all just don't act crazy, but you know, sometimes it was chaotic, you know what I mean? And I hear so many people that are like, I can't go live because my kids might act crazy. Guess what? Somebody out there is going to relate to that, okay? And it's going to give them that push to be like, okay, well, she gets on there and she does that, so I can do it too. You know what I mean? You don't have to have this perfect background and this perfect, you know, aesthetic. You don't have to have your makeup done all the time. Like, you work this business to your liking, pretty much. Like, do what works for you. You know, sometimes I look a hot mess. Well, 90% of the time. And then some days I dress up, you know. That's the beauty of this, the flexibility of it. So you can work in your pajamas if you want to. You can get dressed up if you want to. You can have a kid sit in your lap. I mean, there's so many options for this. And that's why I think a lot of us get into it, you know.
Right. I will say I do truthfully feel like one of my hardest battles starting this, that I wish somebody was there to tell me right away, just like, it's okay.
Push the button.
It's okay to be, it's okay to have your kids. It's okay, you know, it's okay, because I spent so long telling myself, well, I shouldn't do this. I can't do this yet. I can't make this phone call. I can't send this voice message because, like, my kid went in the background. Like, the tiniest little things. Now I'm like, I'm on the phone like, hey, Susie, like voice messaging, and Asher's in the background just like screaming, throwing stuff at the wall because I didn't let him have a cookie. I'm like, sorry about my kids, but that's...
So that's exactly what I said before. And I forgot parts of this, though. I want to say that probably the only thing I remember is the fact that I saw the Shakeology blender bottle thing. And then I know that they were talking about being like a stay-at-home mom and pitching to moms, but I don't remember the actual details of it. So pretty much what she said is what I said in the beginning. You want to know what you can also do where you don't need a perfect background and you can do it with a kid in your lap? YouTube. You can do YouTube. I currently have my daughter. She's playing in front of me. That's why I keep looking down. If you guys saw me looking down, it's because she dropped one of her toys, so now she's like kind of just moving around in front of me. But yeah, you could do YouTube like that. I know that some people probably get annoyed at the background noise, or they might get annoyed at the actual background of the video. But this is my life, and this is what I do, and it's, you know, I do this as a hobby. And do I make money from it? Yeah. And I probably make more than the majority of some MLM reps because of the numbers that we have seen and the fact that most people that join MLMs, they just don't turn a profit. And I already paid off the equipment that I've bought for YouTube over the past couple of years, but I don't even have a crazy setup. I have the same microphone that I have had since the end of 2019, I believe it was. It's cracked, so it does need to be replaced, but it's still working. And all of the other things that I have, I just wanted to say that there's other things you can do if you're looking for a community, if you're looking for things like that. I mean, there are groups you can join. But one of my friends told me about how there's some kind of organization and they have different chapters and in different states and stuff like that, and like areas of different states of moms. I think she said that the chapter in her area, they go to the mall and they kind of like walk around the mall and then they have coffee afterwards. Anyway, so I just wanted to pause it and say that.
For this, and that's why I think a lot of us get into it, you know?
Right. I will say I do truthfully feel like one of my hardest battles starting this, that I wish somebody was there to tell me right away, just like, it's okay.
Push the button.
It's okay to be, it's okay to have your kids. It's okay, you know, it's okay, because I spent so long telling myself, well, I shouldn't do this. I can't do this yet. I can't make this phone call. I can't send this voice message because, like, my kid went in the background. Like, the tiniest little things. Now I'm like, I'm on the phone like, hey, Susie, like voice messaging, and Asher's in the background just like screaming, throwing stuff at the wall because I didn't let him have a cookie. I'm like, sorry about my kids, but that's, you know.
But that's reality, you know? That's life.
So, and I do love that even just, you know, this is so beneficial for moms alone, especially at home moms, you know, who need that like escape. But this is beneficial for so many different types of people. And I think that's what we're kind of going to touch on today is just, I like to acknowledge different levels of business builders. So, I mean, we have our hobbyists, we have our part-timers, we have our full-timers, we have like full-blown business builders who want to build teams like leadership style,
Right.
You know what I mean? And nobody says you have to come in and start one way or the other. You know, I have people who started with 45 minutes a day.
Mm-hmm.
They said, I have 45 minutes a day. I can work it in 3 15-minute chunks. She's become my top influencer on my downline. And that
I hate when they use the term influencer because influencer marketing is an actual type of marketing that is separate from multi-level marketing. And influencers that's an actual career nowadays. It's not like back in the day when people were like, oh, you write a blog on the internet, like you can't make anything from that. You don't even have to have a website or a blog. You can just post on Instagram and you can be an influencer. I mean, you obviously have to have a following and you have to have stuff like that. But yeah, it's not like how back in the day you would post online and nothing would come of it, or how YouTube started as a platform where it was just for videos. There was no such thing as monetization, and then they introduced that. So I can't stand when they call their reps, and I know that Tori Bell does this. They call their reps affiliates, and then I think there's like senior influencer or something like that, if I remember correctly. I can't remember off the top of my head, but they use those terms. And I absolutely cannot stand when they use those terms because that is a legitimate type of marketing. This is multi-level, if I could talk, that'd be great. This is multi-level marketing, not influencer marketing.
she's become my top influencer on my downline. And that was about a year and a half ago or so. And she had a newborn baby, and that's why she could work so little in a day. We set her up. We made sure she was productive. We knew what we were doing in her 3 15-minute chunks. She's become my top influencer. She has a downline, leadership qualities, and she's loving, I'm watching it just change her life. She's loving every second of it. And so, nobody says you have to come in and start a certain way, which is the best part. You might come in.
I know that I paused it really, I didn't really wait that long, but before I lose this thought, when she said that someone she knows that's on her team that is like higher ranking and stuff, that, oh, she just had a newborn baby and she was working within like the 15 minutes of time that she would have, as I know that I keep saying this, but from experience, having a newborn is not easy. And I think that, at least for me, it wasn't easy. And it's still not easy. Being a mom is not easy. And yeah, the newborn phase was not easy because we're new parents. We just bought a house that we didn't even move into yet because we were still in our rental. And my husband had to pretty much, like, the house that we're in right now is not the house that we bought. Because it looks completely different. So he was working really hard to get the house ready for us before our lease ended with the other house. So there was a lot of things going on, but having a newborn was not easy. And that's why, like, they're pitching this where, oh, she could do it within like the 15 minutes. Girl, I'm sorry, but in those 15 minutes of spare time that I had, I was resting my eyes. There was no way. I think in the beginning of when our baby was born, I want to say, I don't think I posted a video for like 2 months, and then it still hasn't been consistent since then because she comes first. She will always come first. But at the same time, this isn't my livelihood. This is a hobby for me. So while the algorithm no longer favors me, obviously, because I'm not consistent or anything like that, I do it as a hobby. So yeah. Anyway, I went off on another tangent. I'm really bad at that. I'm so sorry, guys. But anyway, let's get back into it.
Hot minute, before realizing you might want to do something more with it. So I think that's also just a huge benefit, is because we don't have such a high startup, very low startup, is that this is totally doable for absolutely anybody, no matter what level they want to, come in at. Hey, I know you're testing me.
Well, that's the biggest thing for me. When I first started network marketing, I was kind of like you. I at first was like trying to be like everybody else, in a sense, and trying to be like that perfect version of myself. And then when I stepped back and I was like, that's not really you because you have kids. I mean, sorry, you know? So when I realized I needed to just step into who I was, you know, and figure out what I bring to the table and how I can work this business to the best of my ability, but also to where it wasn't like so stressful. It was fun and it was something that was adding to my life, not like a stressor necessarily. And so when I started doing that and being myself and not worrying about, well, my kid might act this way or I may not look perfect on camera, that's when, like, for me, this business really took off. Because people really can tell if you're genuine or not, or if you're authentic. They can tell when you're putting.
That is the clip. That's actually where it started to kind of glitch, like how I was talking about earlier, where the video just started to glitch, and I don't know if it was my phone, whatever. But so we're gonna just pause it there for a second, and how the one woman, she's the one that's up top, on top of the little live thing, but she's talking about how once she started acting like herself, when she started being, I guess you could say in a sense, relatable, that's when her business started booming. Well, yeah, because people can tell when you're faking something. Let me rephrase that. Not all the time can people notice it. But when you're being your authentic self, a lot of people prefer that because they can relate to you. There's a lot of moms who, if they're not educated in MLMs and kind of how, in my opinion, how terrible the business structure is, they might look at someone like this rep and say, look at her, like she's on this live, she's got her daughter in her lap. The other person has her, I think she said son, I think she said that she had a son. Anyway, has her child walking around and, you know, playing with some of the samples that she has and stuff like that. So someone might look at that and really think, I can do this too. If they can do it, I can do it. So she has a point. She obviously knows how to market herself. So good on her that she knows what works for her, even though I don't agree with it, because I think that it is targeting women who may be in a vulnerable state. Because I'm not gonna lie, in the very beginning, it's a little bit better now, but in the very beginning, it was incredibly mentally just very hard. And it still is, not as bad as the beginning, it still is. But for someone who is in that, if someone is in the same mental state that I was, and currently still kind of, like I said, it's better, but kind of am in, yeah, I can definitely see how it would kind of look to them as like, this is like the other rep said, this can be my escape and this can help me. So anyway, let's get back to it.
Really took off because people really can tell if you're genuine or not, or if you're authentic. They can tell when you're putting up the front. You know what I mean? So that's what I love about this industry. And I was so against network marketing probably 7-8 years ago. I was like, what a joke.
All the time. When those messages came in, it was like, yeah, like, keep going. You're not getting me. I'd even have people tell me, I remember when I started, because I do the Beachbody workouts, and I remember when I started doing the workouts, even just like my family would be like, oh, they got you. They got you. And I'm like,
well, there's such a stigma.
There's
such a stigma to this industry because, and I think a lot of the reason is because they portray it to be really something that it's not. Like, you don't have to be perfect. You can just, like I said, show up in your pajamas if you really want to. Now, obviously, you don't want to be doing that like all the time. But if that's you, that's you. You know what I mean? She's getting me sidetracked. Sorry. No, I was like,
you definitely do need to treat it like a business if a business is what you want out of it. But you know what? If you're doing your business in your pajamas out of bed, who cares? You know?
And people are always like, you know, only certain people make it in this industry. No, I've seen people join years later and be outranked me. You know, it has no, I mean, it doesn't matter when you start. It's And it doesn't matter how fast you go, as long as you stay consistent and you stick with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's my biggest thing. Like, almost sometimes being steady and consistent is better than being fast and, you know, doing it all at once. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like it's a more sustainable way of building a business because you do it at your own pace and you're not so pressured. You know what I'm saying? Like, does that
Yeah,
make
and I completely agree with it. And I think our compensation plan actually favors that too. Because like we were talking about, I think we went over different ways to earn less.
One thing I will say is that these women definitely know how to market themselves, and they know how to market the opportunity to their niche. I will give them that, or their target market. I will give them that. It seems like they kind of know what they're doing. But I don't know if you guys saw, it was a delayed reaction because I had to cut it out, but my husband actually came in. So yeah, I had a delayed reaction, but she talked about being doing the Beachbody workouts, which I'll say because I was in Beachbody. I wouldn't necessarily, I don't agree with the business structure or anything like that, but the workouts, I will say I did enjoy the workouts. However, at the time, I didn't think about, oh, I can actually go ahead and find workouts on YouTube for free. I don't have to pay for it. So anyway, let's get back to it.
Time maybe, or the time before that. But our compensation plan favors the like do it at your own pace because you have 6 ways you can earn in your first month after joining.
Oh, and also I just remembered that I had a thought before too when she said, oh, if you want this to be a business, you have to work it like a business. So one thing that I will say is being on YouTube and stuff, I do this as a hobby. I don't do this as a business. So in my opinion, I'm not as I guess you could say I'm not as professional and I'm not as fancy with the equipment and stuff as other people are because like I said earlier in the video, this isn't my livelihood. This is just as a hobby. It's just something that I do for fun in addition to my blog and stuff like that, but it's just something I do for fun. This isn't my full-time job. I'm a stay-at-home working mom because I do still do stuff for our business and everything. So yeah, but anyway, let's get back to it.
Alone. And then you have 10 different bonuses you can earn 100% by yourself before you are in a level of leadership that will require you to build leaders underneath you. So if people want to come into this, do it at their own pace and just kind of like be their own business for a little while right away. Maybe some people are actually, they just don't recruit because they're actually afraid to lead. So if people feel that way, like they can come in and test the waters and just make some extra money for themselves.
I don't think they're necessarily afraid to lead. I think that they just don't like having to hassle their friends and family. So because that was my thing with Beachbody, and Mary Kay too. I didn't want to hassle my friends and my family to join my team. So I did not want to recruit people. And I'll tell you something, because people always say, oh, you can make money without recruiting. I'm sorry if you can hear my dog, but we had a slight emergency in our house, and so we have a lot of construction going on, and Zero is freaking out because she is not by her dad. She can't see her dad, so now she's like freaking out. But I just lost my train of thought. If it comes back to me, I'll talk about it. But anyway.
Make some extra money for themselves with all of those different opportunities to earn alone. Because most compensation plans at most companies, from the first rank, you have to have people under you, or you have to have recruited so many people in a month or had so many parties in a month. And I love that Farmasi doesn't make those requirements for us. They give us the opportunity.
Years ago, I would have killed just to have $150. You don't have to have these big giant goals.
Right.
Even just to have a goal of 100, 500, 250, whatever the goal is, any kind of extra income is helping you and your family. I mean, think of $100. Back 8 years ago, I would have killed just to have $150 extra a month, just to put extra groceries on the table, or that was enough money to put my daughter into dance or something. You know, like that in itself helps so much. And yes, you can make thousands here, okay, if you put in the work. But you don't, like I said, you don't have to have these big giant goals at first. Like,
can you make thousands? Is it just if you put in the work? Or is it if you recruit people into a downline where people have to be losing money in order for people at the top to make money? So, is it really that you're going to make $1,000 or thousands of dollars, whatever it was that she said?
you don't have to have these big giant goals at first. Like, take one bite at a time. Just start, and then work your way and figure it out along the way. You know what I'm saying? And then you might find that, hey, maybe this is something I really do want to like pursue and put my time into. But you don't have to have those big goals at the very beginning.
That is going to be the end of that, because that's when my phone started, as you can see through editing, it started getting choppy and stuff. So that's where I'm going to end it. There was only maybe like a minute or two left. I can't remember for sure. But that's where I'm going to end it. So, yeah. Obviously, they know who they're targeting. They have their target market. They're targeting moms. They're trying to be relatable and authentic and all of the things. So, yeah, I guess that's the perfect example of that, and targeting new moms and stay-at-home moms, or maybe even working moms that want to be able to stay home. So, yeah. You guys let me know what you think in the comment section below, and I will see you guys next time. This is Monica reporting to you live from a highway.